Going to get the State and Local Government Subcommittee of Government Affairs Committee meeting started. And we are going to start with Chairman Clint Crow, HB 1180. This is hearing only, so once we get finished this meeting, be eligible for a full committee moving forward at the chairman's discretion, Chairman Anderson. So, Chairman Crow, would you like to kick us off and read us the LC number as well?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, as you stated, House Bill 1180, and I'm working off LC 620301. And quite simply, what we're doing is last year we had a similar bill that raised the limit of the outstanding mortgage revenue bonds that the Georgia Housing and Finance Authority could issue. And during that process, we actually had several discussions about, instead of raising the cap, just eliminating the cap altogether, because there is no, it doesn't create any indebtedness for the state of Georgia, and it would allow them a little more flexibility. There's a lot of oversight with this, the Georgia Housing and Finance Authority. The board is the same board that is the board of the DCA, Department of Community Affairs, and also those bonds that can be issued are approved by GISFIC. And so the board of GISFIC is made up of people like the governor, lieutenant governor, speaker of the House, the agriculture commissioner, and I have a list here because I can't ever remember all of them, but state auditor, speaker of the House, attorney general, commissioner of agriculture, and a state treasurer. So there's already a lot of state oversight in that, but that would allow them the flexibility to issue these as needed. The authority itself has a very, very high AAA bond rating already. They are the ones that are backing these, and these funds are used to support their mortgage programs to support homeownership throughout the state through the DCA. We have some members of the DCA. We have the Deputy Commissioner for Housing here, as well as some other people in DCA that can speak to it if there's any questions. But quite simply, we're trying to take some of our processes out of the way to allow them to do what they need to do and operate in a way that can help promote homeownership in the state. And I'll answer any questions if either of you have any sense.
All right. Any questions from the committee? You good? All right. Is this bill?
Oh, there we go. Did you have any questions?
All right. Mr. Chairman, if you'll give it just a minute, we do have one speaker to this bill, Caitlin Bickett.
Yep. Caitlin, you.
Sorry about that. I picked the worst spot to sit. I'm Caitlin Bickett. I'm with the Georgia Realtors. We are always in support of smart legislation that can help people attain the American dream of home ownership. Programs like the Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program rely on the Georgia Housing and Finance Authority's bonding authority. I have personally seen the Georgia Dream Home Ownership Program help some of my friends buy their first homes, and I hope to use it one day myself, and I think that this legislation makes that possibility even more attainable. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
Thank you.
All right. Chairman Crow, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. And just to her point real quick, I would like to tell the committee a quick story, an experience we had. As many of you know, I am in the real estate business. I own a residential real estate brokerage. And we had a young couple that were buying their first home this past fall. He's a young firefighter. I've known him since he was a child. His parents are friends of mine. His wife is a young school teacher. Her mom is a school teacher that teaches at the school my children go to. Great young couple buying their first home. Got approved for the mortgage. Got ready to send everything in. They were doing a USDA loan, which is through the Federal Department of Agriculture. And right about the time they went to submit that package, the federal government shut down. And so they were stuck, and they had sellers on the other side that really needed to move and were gracious enough to wait a little bit to give them time to get it through. But as it drug on, their patience was starting to wear thin because they needed to move. Long story short, their lender was able to switch them over to a Georgia Dream program through DCA. They were able to get it approved really rapidly, and they were able to get closed on their home. So you had a young school teacher, a young firefighter, that there are programs specifically designed for protectors in the communities and things like that. They were able to buy their first home because of this program. And I want to make sure that we always have the funds available, whether we're in session or not, to make that happen. So thank you and the committee, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Chairman Crow, and HB 1180 will be available for the chairman to pull up to full committee. Thank you. All right, Representative Reese, which bill would you like to start with?
Start with 609.
All right, the floor is yours, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the committee. And Chairman Crow, go get that win, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His daughter is playing her first soccer game, and so we were, no worries, this building is old. That's why we're building a new one. That's why we're building a new one. And so today I have before you Committee House Bill 609 LC 473284. I would like to add, if you look at the signers on this bill, it is the entire Columbus delegation, including Leader Hughley, Representative Rice, Representative Buckner, and Representative Smith. This legislation is a request of the Columbus Consolidated Government. They passed it unanimously. And basically what this bill here would be doing is, when we first introduced tax allocation districts in the state of Georgia, we took on measures to make sure that we were protecting our state and our people and finances from fraud and things of that nature. And some of that included restrictions on who could engage and how they could engage in the tax allocation districts. Well, this particular bill, what it does is it takes the word employees, because currently under the code, all employees are basically restricted from engaging in any type of investment areas within a tax allocation district. So say, for instance, if someone is a maintenance guy or someone who cuts grass for the city, and he owns a home in a part of town that has recently been drawn into a tax allocation district, he could not participate in that or put a business or anything there under the provisions of that tax allocation district, just simply because he was an employee. And so the city leaders of Columbus feel that's a little too strict. We do want to maintain protections. That's why they suggest that we say employees whose primary job responsibilities relate to the creation or administration of a redevelopment area or redevelopment activities. And of course, as you know, that would go up the chain. So most likely anybody like in the mayor's office or chief of staff offices would automatically be left out because everybody winds up to them. So this is opening it up to employees who just happen to be government employees that has no way of influencing the process, but they're excluded from being able to participate in tax allocation districts by simple virtue of the employee status.
Thank you, Representative. Any questions?
I think we have.
Go ahead, Representative.
Thank you for bringing this bill from your local community. So, yeah, I know we talked earlier, and just so this narrows which employees qualified for the ban. So I guess my question is, like, do you have an understanding or a rundown of or examples of employees that would no longer be under this? I know you mentioned one already, but yeah. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around, like, how to properly balance between the conflict of interest versus ensuring that, you know, employees like you mentioned, right, like the maintenance guy wouldn't be under this. And so you say, like, for example, like the chief of staff of the mayor would still be banned under the language of this bill, correct?
Yes, because everything winds up to them. So when you look at the definition that we're proposing in this code, it says anyone closely related to that type of activity around that tax allocation district. Any tax allocation district that's currently been formed within a government, you're going to have your top level officials that's included. So they just understand by virtue of their job, they will never be excluded from this requirement under the tax allocation district. But however, we don't want to hurt those employees that have absolutely nothing to do with it. When you think about the legislative intent, when we first put the restrictions in here around tax allocation districts, it was all about making sure that we prevent fraud. Mm-hmm. It was about making sure that people who have inside information can't use their knowledge to get to someone else to make things happen, right? And so what this does is it allows those people who don't have access to any of that to still be able to engage in the tax allocation districts because they wouldn't have access to do so. And let's be absolutely clear, if people want to commit fraud, they're going to find a way to commit fraud. Even those who are still in the know can tell buddies or someone else and take advantage of it in an unfair manner. We hope that people act right, but at the same time, what this does is this attempt to not hurt employees who have absolutely nothing to do with the creation of those districts and the inside information.
And just to follow up question, if I may, I think the sticking point for me is primary job responsibilities. I wonder if maybe if we just said job responsibilities, if that would.
I would be absolutely okay with that friendly amendment. I have no problem with that.
Okay, thank you.
So if you want to put that on the floor, if you want to move that, give Mr. Chairman time to catch up. Take your time.
Sorry.
You good?
Any other questions from committee?
Mr. Chairman,
we're talking about a
right
potential.
now,
I'm sorry, what is
yes.
Motion on to amend a friendly amendment for the bill, if possible.
Sure.
Yes, and I would be okay with that. What we're talking about, Mr. Chairman, is on, I think it was line 14.
Yeah, so line 14, we would just remove
We remove the word
primary
and
and just
it would
say-
just say whose job responsibilities.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with
If
that.
the
I have
author's
no problem with
fine
that. Yes, sir.
I'll accept that motion.
All right.
Okay. I'm
I don't know if we need to move it
So,
in full committee.
That's
because
right.
We don't have, okay.
We can bring a sub to the full committee with your language that you want to amend it with.
Sounds good.
Is that good with you?
Thank you.
And I'll let y'all work on that after today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Representative Sanchez. That was a great discussion.
Of course, thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, if you're ready, we can move to the next one.
Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to turn it back over to Chairman Anderson.
Oh, there's Chairman Anderson. Chairman Anderson, I have to tell you, Representative Fleming did an excellent job while you were gone.
Listen, y'all may prefer me to leave again.
You recommended it, sir, not me.
Okay. All right, if you're ready, we'll move on to House Bill 863.
Yes, House Bill 863. Again, I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership now that you are here, and thank you to the committee members that are here. Mr. Chairman, with House Bill 863 LC 590156, as many of us know and intimately understand, small businesses have been the backbone, the heartbeat of many of our communities, especially rural parts of our state. And it's incumbent upon us that we make sure that we're constantly fighting for our small businesses, giving them an opportunity to be able to compete in this large world industry that we have with us today. So what this bill does is this bill here, as you see in line 4, it will make reasonable efforts. Think about that term there, reasonable efforts to dedicate 20% of the annual procurement contracts to projects and contracts involving small businesses. So what this would look to do is to make sure that we are incorporating small businesses into our contract and procurement process here in the state. Reasonable efforts is just a strong suggestion to our leaders in this state that they think about our small businesses as we're doing these contracts. How can we more incorporate them into the process? And it also, this bill helps us define the small business process. And I think there's some people here that want to speak to this. Let's see. Maybe I said we have one that certainly wants to speak. So I thought that. Go ahead. Yes, sir. So that's pretty much the bill.
Okay, all right, thank you. And do we have any questions on the part of the committee? Seeing none, I will ask one question if I can.
Yes, sir.
I see you define small business and you designate, again, reasonable efforts regarding small business.
Yes, sir.
Would there be any interest in making this Georgia businesses?
Oh, I would love
within
that.
the state. So
I would love that. Hey, you winning me over right now. What else you want?
we'll talk offline about that. How about
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that? Okay.
And can we give this gentleman an opportunity to sell?
Please come and introduce yourself and tell us who you're with and proceed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Thank you, Representative Reese, for bringing this to our attention. Usually with NFIB, that's the National Federation of Independent Business, we're not a big fan of set-asides, but I think in this instance, we'll make an exception because you said it perfectly. Our small businesses, they're dying by a death of 1,000 paper cuts, as we say. So any attempt to get the state involved with procurement, especially on these contracts, I mean, I wish it could be higher. 80%, 100%. But we could only do so much. It's my hope that the process for registering is not overly incumbent to kick some small businesses out, but we absolutely appreciate the effort. And if I didn't say it, my name is Hunter Loggins with NFIB. Happy to answer any questions, but again, I think it's a great bill.
Okay, I see no questions. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll be excused, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, thank you. All right, next we're going to move on to House Bill 913. We'll ask Representative Fleming to come up and present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I present to you House Bill 913. We're working off LC 590172. HB 913 is a good government bill. It's a cost-saving measures, enables choice, and enables cost savings for state and local governments. I'm just going to walk through real quick what the bill does and what we're going after here. This bill prohibits software vendors from placing into software contracts terms that limit a customer's choice on what the vendors they use for additional technology services like cloud computing. Georgia Public Sector entitles entities shouldn't be prevented from having full and free choice when it comes to select technology services that better meet their budget and operational needs just because of a software contract that might be in place. Think of this like when you go buy a new car and you have your purchase agreement with the dealership. But in that purchase agreement, the dealership says you can only use our body shop if your car gets in a wreck. You can only use our oil change to get your oil change. You can only buy gas from this certain gas station. That's what these contracts do that tie state and local governments' hands when they are procuring this. This bill, therefore, prohibits contract terms that create lock-in or create penalty structures that deter or threaten customers from having this type of free choice. It applies only to future contracts, not the ones that are already in place, so it's only moving forward. Saves taxpayers money through competitive bidding and competitive pricing. Vendors can freely compete for the business. Two, it ensures budget funds are used effectively. Public sector entities, for example, should not be prevented from lower cost options that would free up funding for other projects or critical initiatives that they seek to go after. It gives agencies flexibility to choose the best technology for their specific needs. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Technology neutral. It doesn't pick winner or losers. It just ensures that there is fair competition when it comes to these projects. And it puts Georgia, the state government and local governments in control, not software vendors. Several states have already implemented this over the past year or two, and it has bipartisan support, supported through ALEC and the Council of State Governments. And if you look at the co-sponsors of the bill, you can see we got bipartisan support from it as well. And Mr. Chairman, if it was appropriate, at the appropriate time, I'd like to ask Mr. Scott Drexel, who's with the Coalition for Fair Software Licensing, to say a few words, if that's appropriate.
Okay, well, let's do this. I have we have one committee member who wants to ask a question, if we may. Representative Burnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the bill. Would this apply to our agencies within the state government they could?
Yep, and it says, I forget the line, it's all state departments, governmental entities, boards, bureaus, commissions, authorities, county, municipal, corporations, school systems, and other political subdivisions of the state. So
okay.
Everything. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Okay, and we'll go ahead and, if you will, just please come to the podium and introduce yourself, tell us who you're with, and proceed.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Scott Drexel. I'm here on behalf of an organization called the Coalition for Fair Software Licensing. I'm going to avoid trying to repeat everything that the representative just said. The reason that we have this bill before you and the reason we've introduced it in a number of different states around the country is largely because we've had this growing concern among procurement officials and central IT departments that when they think they're buying software, they actually find out down the road that they're being locked into buying goods and services above and beyond what they think they're getting. And there's no technical requirement. There are tons of SaaS products out there that run in native environments, and those aren't touched by these. But when you have a piece of software that was designed to run in any hardware environment, what this bill says is that the tail doesn't get to wag the dog. The vendor doesn't get to dictate to the customer how they're using the product that they're purchasing. The central IT needs to be able to say, for reasons of flexibility, cybersecurity, cost savings, if they want to buy this software product and run it on this cloud, they should be able to do that. If they want to buy a software product and hosting services from the same company, we can get into whether or not that's smart from a cybersecurity perspective, but at a minimum, central IT shouldn't have its hands cuffed. I think what we found in a lot of states is when they've gone in and looked at the total spend, the result of all this vendor lock is states are spending way more than they realize with individual software companies and this is intended just to rein that in and ultimately remove kind of an artificial restriction that gets buried in terms and conditions and frees up the central IT leaders to make the decisions they need to make.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, I don't think we had anybody even signed up to speak to the bill right now.
Thank you.
We're actually running a little ahead of schedule. We were informed that House Bill 1078, we were asked by the author to pull that off the agenda, so we'll be addressing that next week. Any other comments from the audience at this point? We got just a few minutes. All right, seeing none, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you. Let's go to